Hello, how is everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are great. Welcome back to another live stream. We're going to be talking about RWA Polkadot in this one, and we're going to cover some news as well. Hopefully you enjoy the live stream. If you do, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Let's quickly jump into the Bitcoin chart and see what's going on, just for an update, brief update. We're above the 20 EMA on the weekly chart, which is very important. We were below it in March, and in April, we managed to start breaking past it. So from the bottom here, the local bottom in April at around $75,000, we went up all the way to $112,000. That was more than a 50% increase. So that was a very good buying opportunity. When you're below the 20 EMA, that usually is a signal of a local bottom. And during a bull market, that's a great buying opportunity. Now, during a bear market, you're constantly going to be below the 20 EMA, and you're going to be getting rejected from that 20 EMA. And when you finally break past it, that is your signal of a reversal. And I hope the connection here is doing good. It should be. Hello, Elorm, how are you doing? Let me know if the audio and the video are good. Lord Mubarak, hey Azik, please Polkadot and Moon River. We're going to take a look at some Polkadot projects in a little bit, so make sure to stay tuned for that. If you want, send your altcoin requests down below in the comments while we take a look at everything that I want to cover before we jump into the altcoins for some quick TA. So as long as Bitcoin is above the 20 EMA, we're all looking good. We're still targeting $155,000 as our target. Some analysts are looking at $135,000. Obviously, depends on what formula you're looking at, what kind of a chart you're looking at, what indicators you're using, and so on. And again, we can never guess what the exact price is going to be. So that's just a brief breakdown on Bitcoin. And let's jump into some news here. So Kraken is now in Europe. So they got the MiCA license, and now they're going to be trading within the 30 EEA member states. And this is a part of their expanding on a strong foundation. And obviously this means that they're not going to be using USDT in those European states. And I think Turkey also is now enforcing the MiCA regulation onto all of the exchanges. And yeah, so they're pushing Tether out of Europe. USDC is taking the lead in terms of stable coins in Europe. And yeah, I think healthy stablecoin competition is always good. We don't want to see one completely dominate the market. And next up from Eleanor Terret, we have some news about the Ripple and SEC lawsuit. I mean, I don't know what about you, but I'm getting a little bit tired of hearing about this ongoing thing for the past 5 years. So Judge Torres' message in the ruling is that private deals don't erase public judgments, and her judgment still serves the public interest. The parties do not have the authority to agree not to be bound by a court's final judgment. They have not come close to doing so here. If they want out, she said, they can withdraw their appeals and let the judgment stand, or go through the appeals process to challenge it. So essentially, the judge refused another appeal request from the SEC. So Judge Torres has denied Ripple and the SEC joint motion for an indicative ruling. And yeah, so by the looks of things, Ripple will just be forced to pay a fee, and that's it. Yeah, and this has dragged on for far too long. And to be honest, I don't know if it will have the effect that everyone is hoping for by the end of it. You know, once the lawsuit is over, the XRP price has been doing really well, I have to admit. It's stayed above $2, and it's been doing very well here. So the RSI has come back down already. We're sitting at around 50 on the RSI index. And we might be bouncing off of this previous resistance as support now. So maybe around $1.80 to 70 cents is going to be a great area to dollar cost average. On the monthly chart, as you can see, we are still above the 20 EMA. So we might come back down to retest $1.60 to $1.47 if we have a major capitulation. Okay, that's the XRP update for you. I know some of you are still holding XRP, and hopefully it all plays out well for you. I personally don't own any XRP. And again, some El Salvador news. Yesterday we had some news regarding their deal with NVIDIA. Today we're taking a look at their updated balance sheet. So they're adding 7 Bitcoin this week and now holding 6,222 Bitcoin in total. And they're in massive profits. And they're essentially the first nation to really start adopting Bitcoin. And this is very impressive from El Salvador, very impressive. And I believe they were just switched from the, there was like a list, El Salvador now on US tourist list. There was something about a tourist list where the US listed them in the, okay, so now El Salvador is on the US tourist list within exercise normal precautions, which is what they're telling tourists essentially, or US citizens. And according to the US government, this indicates that the country is considered relatively safe for travelers, although some risks still exist. The advisory notes that gang activity has decreased over the last 3 years, leading to a drop in violent crimes and murders. However, US government employees are prohibited from traveling between cities or departments at night due to risks. Violence. Drop. Let's see if there's an update in terms of percentage. Because the president has gone through or implemented a massive gang crackdown. The number of homicides in El Salvador dropped nearly by 70% during 2023, with 154 recorded compared to 495 in 2022. That's really good. Like, that's really good. What about 2024? So they're really bringing the country back to 114 homicides, which is really good. Like, really good in the sense that that the numbers are dropping. Okay, and there hasn't been any homicides this year in 2025, at least from what the AI is giving us. So that's really good. That's really good news for El Salvador. I'm hoping I will go there in the next few years, because it's going to be interesting to see how, like, to see it in person, how Bitcoin has evolved there and how much it really became a part of daily life. Now, this is where we get to some Polkadot news. Polkadot saw a 36.9% drop in Q1 2025 transactions, but not all chains slowed. Moonbeam is up 6.5%, Mythos is up 12%, Peak is up 84%, yet Dot's market cap slid from 8 billion to 5.1 billion, and critics call it a ghost chain despite strong tech. Is Polkadot building for a future no one's using? And this has been an ongoing discussion about Polkadot, and to be honest, like if we go to, this is the Polkadot category on CoinMarketCap, the Polkadot ecosystem. And those of you on Patreon will know that I took profits on all of my Polkadot coins. I sold Polkadot with a 2x profit. I sold Kusama with, I think, more than a 2x profit. We sold Moonbeam. I think I sold this and broke even. The only coin from the Polkadot ecosystem that I still have is EnergyWeb, and I'm planning to get out of that as soon as I break even. Okay, and I also have Polkadex. And this has been like something that I've held for probably 4 years, and it dropped significantly. They had some shenanigans going on with the team. So the initial team left. Now they have a new team. Hopefully something will come out of it. It's very low market cap, so this can easily pump. At least a 10x here would take us to $5.7 million market cap, and that would be insane for anyone buying in right now. I know Moonwell is another popular project on Polkadot, but I haven't seen anything else that's very bullish at the moment. If you want to buy Polkadot at the moment at these current prices, you can do that, but I do not see massive gains coming from this. And if you look at the current state of affairs on the weekly chart, we are officially dropping below our bear market bottom prices. So these are our bear market prices in October 2023, and that was considered our bear market bottom for Polkadot. And we had this massive move to the upside, another correction to the same low, and another move to the upside. This is where I took my profits, right at the top there. And everyone on Patreon was advised of that, of course. But when we were riding it all the way down now, we're losing this support at roughly $4. And we're losing the local bottom at $3.70, which is not a good sign, because when you're losing massive levels of support, that means that there is no one to buy and people are selling. That means there's more selling pressure than there is buying pressure. So for this reason alone, I'm not looking at Polkadot. It's a high cap coin, and it has been underwhelming in terms of performance. If you want to look at something that's a high cap but has been doing better, take a look at Cardano. This has a much better, exponentially better chart. And I'm not saying it's going to do a 10x from here, right? But I'm saying this has much more upside potential because the chart is bullish. We're printing higher highs and higher lows. Cardano has actually been doing impressive things here with their chart. And let's pull out our Elliott wave theory waves. That's our wave 3. And let's see. So wave 4 went below wave 1. So this is an invalid count. So there is no Elliott wave count here, but we do have some sort of a channel up pattern that we're adhering to. And supposedly the next time we have a pump, we're going to reach somewhere, let's say around $1.60 to $2. And you also have the 1.618 here. So if I just zoom in on the chart so you can see what I'm talking about, you have this bottom from August, this top from March 2024. Our 1.618 is at $1.60. Anyway, back to Polkadot. Moonriver actually is the other coin that I have from the Polkadot ecosystem, but for some reason it's not listed here. It's not on the list here, which is a little bit annoying. So let's search it up. Okay, so Moonriver, $53.1 million market cap. It's listed on Binance, on OKX, lots of the major exchanges. The volume is 2.74 million. This coin likes to pump a lot, and as I've been advising everyone on Patreon and in some of the videos, when we have our next massive pump for Moonriver, that is likely where I will be taking profits. So we had this pump in December 2023. This was like an 11x in just a matter of days. Or you could say 13x in a matter of, that's a weekly 91 days. So 3 months, that's 13x. And then from December 11th all the way up until December 25th, like around 2 week span, you have a 7x to the upside, which is crazy. So what we're looking for here for Moonriver is we do not want to be losing the bear market bottom prices. So these prices here from September, August 2023 are crucial to hold. So we do not want to be breaking below those. And currently that's around $4. Hopefully we can reverse from here and we can enter our wave 3. But again, I don't even think this Elliott wave structure is valid anymore because wave 2 is is very, very much deep. So I'll have to check if a wave 2 can be that deep and for the count to still be valid. But I don't think it is, to be honest. So this Elliott wave structure is also off. And if you're bullish on Moonriver, if you know this thing is going to pump, you have massive expectations from the project, you can get in right now and you can expect some, at least by the end of the year, we should be in profit from the current prices, okay? Other than that, maybe look into Fala because it has AI affiliations, right? If you scroll down here, AI and big data, so it's an Polkadot AI project. That's the only one really that I would be looking into if I wanted to get something from the AI side of things. And yeah, that's my little breakdown for Polkadot. Now, BNB is getting a Maxwell mainnet hard fork that goes live tomorrow, June 30th, slashing block times from 1.5 seconds to 0.75 seconds. This means that this will increase the speed of transactions. That's like Solana level speed with actual liquidity and enterprise adoption. Meanwhile, Ethereum layer 2s are still figuring out how to not fragment everything. The market rewards execution over ideology. Yeah, so this will be exponentially faster. And that person is right. There is adoption on the BNB chain. It's obviously affiliated with Binance. So there's a lot of... it's not like you're buying into some random layer 1, right? So BNB is one of the coins that I would definitely look at if I wanted to buy a safe layer 1, a safe high cap coin. Let me try to... And look at the price action. It's been doing very well. From these bottom prices in August 2023, we're far, far from the bear market prices. Unlike Cardano, we had a 4x to the upside. Now we're hovering around the all-time high from 2021. So I think this is just a coin that will not be going away in the near future, at least. Let's see if I can add a channel pattern here. So we have a channel up pattern and we're going up and down in it. So presumably the next time we have a move to the upside, we're going to hit hit it sometime in Q4, and that's going to put us closer to $1,000, $900 to $950 to $1,000. Now, I wouldn't buy BNB at this very moment. But again, it depends on what you're expecting. So if you're looking for a 3 to 5x, I would not get BNB. If you're looking for something safe to put your money into and you don't want to buy Ethereum, then I would go with BNB. Of course, this is not financial advice by any means, okay? Make sure to do your own research, guys. Now, $2.1 billion in crypto stolen in the first half of 2025 across 75 plus hacks by North Korea, and that was for $1.6 billion, including the $1.5 billion Bybit breach, and Iran's Nobitex hit by Israeli-linked hackers, funds burned, not spent. So Israel is joining the club of international hackers, so they're joining North Korea in that list. But essentially, they are using crypto theft as a geopolitical weapon, as the post here states. And that is true. That is true. Especially with some of the Eastern countries using Bitcoin for transactions and using crypto. They're more pro-crypto. Then we could see more of these sort of hacks on government levels, probably. And that's why you'd always want to stick with a ledger, with a cold storage wallet, where you're not really exposed to centralized exchanges. We're going to take a look at Chainlink after we're done with the news section, and we're going to take a look at Sologenic as well. So the US Treasury posted a $316 billion budget deficit in May, the third largest on record. This comes as total government outlays rose 3% from year to year, and $687 billion per zero hedge. And while tariff revenue surged 270% year to year to a record $23 billion, it barely made a dent in the deficit. So this was something that I spoke about recently, and there's some other analysts that are obviously at a higher level than me that are talking about the fact that the money they're going to be making from all of these tariffs are not going to cover the deficit. They're not going to replace taxation. It's just not comparable. So the money that they're going to be making from the tariffs will not be replacing anything. In the first 8 months of the 2025 fiscal year, the budget gap now stands at 1.37 trillion, the third largest in history. The 12-month federal deficit now stands at $2 trillion, or 6.7% of GDP, up from 6.1% a year ago. The deficit spending crisis is worsening. So this is a sinking ship, essentially, and there's no stopping it. You might try to slow it down a little bit, but this is a complete lack of leadership and complete disregard of, future generations, because this will impact a lot of people, and it's a melting ice pot, or whatever, melting pot, whatever the phrase is in English. So we'll see what the current administration does, but whatever they're doing right now is not going to prevent this total meltdown of the economy. Now we're going to talk about RWAs a little bit. So tokenized real-world assets explode to $24 billion as institutions pile into on-chain finance, according to the latest Redstone DeFi study. RWA market surged 380% since 2022. Private credit leads at 14 billion. Treasuries hit 7.5 billion. 10 to 30% of global assets could be tokenized by 2033. So we all know Larry Fink is pushing for tokenizations. He's, a big RWA supporter, a huge Bitcoin fan. And over the past year, he's been going on different news outlets and different podcasts and whatnot. And he was essentially promoting crypto and RWAs, and he's pushing for global tokenization. This will obviously have a massive impact on the RWA crypto market cap and all of the projects involved in that. So this is an article from TokenFi.medium. RWA tokenization set to see 50x growth by 2030. Financial institutions are all in. So a report from Trend Finance suggests that real-world assets tokenization market could surge to $10 trillion by 2030. This would represent an astonishing 50x increase from its current valuation, which is already drawing serious interest from financial powerhouses like BlackRock and JP Morgan. These companies aren't just experimenting, they're actively pursuing tokenization projects that they see as the next evolution in finance. We all know BlackRock is one of the projects that is involved with Ondo Finance. So if we go to the RWA narrative here, or the RWA category on CoinMarketCap, so Chainlink is the number one here. Chainlink essentially is the project that has a partnership with everyone. The RWA project that I'm most bullish on is Ondo. Okay. We were in Manta. We got into Manta, we wrote it, we made some money with it, and then we exited. And the price kept pumping in the first half of 2025, even though the rest of the markets were dumping. And that was a worrying sign, in my opinion. And then whatever happened. The price crashed, and it was a rug pull, essentially. The same thing happened with ZKJ, where the price was holding still for a very, very long time. So $1.90, $2 range, and then we dropped to 30 cents. Massive, massive rug pull. And I was talking about this on Patreon because some people were asking for TAs for Polyhedra network. And this was a wording I gave them. It does not look good because the price does not go down. The price isn't going down. It's as if it's being held up artificially for some purpose. I don't know if this is going to go up. I don't know if it's going to come back, but team has not disappeared to work on the projects, but everything the team held a great AMA session where they answered all the questions related to the token price drop. Weak hands are selling the token, and I'm sure that in the future they will regret these actions. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be buying into something like this. Okay, there's lots of other coins you can get into. There's no point in risking so much. Now, Chainlink, I think, is a massive, massive project that I think everyone should hold. Let's actually take a look at the price action chart because we got a request for Chainlink. I think I set this up on the daily chart, the Fibonacci, but I don't think it actually no. Looks like it's properly set up here on the weekly. So let me just remove the bigger fib. All right, so this is the Fibonacci that we've got, and we're currently retesting the 0.236 level at around $12. That's a great buying opportunity. We have this support block below us. So this is between $11.6 to $10.33. When we dip into that zone, that's a great buying opportunity. That's what we did here in Q4 of 2024. And I gave you that block way in advance. When we were sitting up here in March 2024, I gave you this block and I told you this would be a great buying opportunity. We dropped into that block. We had a massive move to the upside from there. And you were up at least 3x. So we got to $33, and that was the peak, the peak in December 2024. At the moment, I think Chainlink is sitting at a great buying opportunity. If you're looking for a safe, high cap altcoin, Chainlink is what you should be looking at. And if we're looking at all-time high prices and let's say bull market top prices, so I think $47, if we get to around $50 by the end of the cycle, or when Bitcoin is hovering at 150 to 155K, if that happens, you definitely want to be taking a big chunk out at $50 at the previous all-time high, because a lot of people are going to be selling. A lot of people are going to see, well, we're sitting at the previous all-time high, I might as well take some profits. So there could be a lot of pressure, a lot of selling pressure from $50 or so. So make sure you're taking profits there. And if you were buying down here, like we were during the 2022 bear market, if you're getting in here and you're selling at $50, that's essentially a 10x move for you. So congratulations to everyone who got in there. We were covering Chainlink on a weekly basis. And at the moment, I think Chainlink is below the 20 EMA, and that's a signal that we want to be getting in. Just like we were below the 20 EMA here for a short period of time, okay? And then we had that move to the upside. So you have this diagonal resistance trend line, and then you end up breaking past it, okay? So you break up, and then once again, we have another diagonal resistance trend line, and we're going to break past this one as well. Move to the, every time we come up to it, we hit it, and we come down as resistance. We retest the support levels below, but then again, we're going to have a move to the upside. So very similar. Both fractals are very, very similar here. And I don't see Chainlink going away anytime soon. And for the next bear market, once we're in the next bear market, once we go through our blow off top, I am going to be picking up more Chainlink because this is a very solid project. So Ondo is the other project that I recommend you guys look into. You can also look at Quant. It hasn't been doing much lately. It's been very sideways, so do with that what you will. But Ondo, in my opinion, is very bullish. If you look at some of the names that are involved with the project, you'll understand why. So the Ondo ecosystem is supported by a diverse range of institutional and crypto native partners and service providers. So BlackRock, obviously, one of the biggest asset managers, I think the biggest with $9 trillion. Coinbase, Injective, Solana, Ankura. So when you see BlackRock and you see RWA, you see what Larry Fink is talking about. It's obvious that Ondo will benefit the most out of the next RWA hype wave. So that's why I'm focusing on Ondo so much. You can also look at Injective. You can look at Avalanche if you want. Axler is another one that I've covered on Patreon before. Definitely not Mantra. I would just stay away from Mantra. No longer a viable option. Plume is something people are starting to pick up. We've covered it on Patreon recently. It's listed on a lot of centralized exchanges. No Binance, though. No Kraken. Actually, we have Kraken. No Binance, no Coinbase yet. So 2 listings on those major exchanges could put this ahead of everyone else in terms of market cap. But again, I think we're going to be looking at something. So the #1 project is $9 billion. Okay, well, not everyone, but it would definitely put it into the top 10 RWA coins by market cap. And this is a new project. It's been around since January 2025, so just around 6 months. So definitely look into Plume. Centrifuge is another one. And this is actually I believe this is, okay, yeah, this is just on Ethereum. I was wondering if this is a Polkadot coin, but I don't think it is. It could be a parachain. It could be a parachain on the Polkadot blockchain, but I'm not sure. But this is another RWA coin that I recommend people research. Polyhedra, it had that massive price drop. I would stay away from it. Propy is something that Alex Becker mentions, so he tries to plug that in. Pinlink is probably the biggest one here. Alex Becker is getting coins from the team, so he will be mentioning Pinlink. This is like a hybrid between an AI and RWA coin. So Pinlink is definitely one you should not overlook. The market cap is still extremely low. This could easily do, 20 to 30x. And I'm not going to go too low there because I don't want to give out all of the low caps that we cover on Patreon, but that's the breakdown for RWA. Lots of money to be made with this. We'll see what stocks may get involved with RWA. So make sure to follow the RWA narrative very closely. Okay, so let's go through. Will you check out Sologenic? Is the biggest token on the. Yeah, we've done Sologenic videos. We've done a lot of Sologenic videos in the past. We've covered the airdrop. And we've done TA videos since. And I've given you great entries and great exits, not to blow my trumpet a lot, but they were great entries. So that's the Sologenic price action chart. And just a few months ago, we were sitting at these highs here at 90 cents. And I was telling people, you should start taking profits. You should get out of this thing because, it's going to go down. It's inevitable. It's going to go down. These massive pumps are not sustainable. They're never sustainable. And some of the people didn't like that. Some of the people took profits, hopefully. But right now, we're sitting below the 20 EMA. And this is where you want to think about dollar cost averaging again. So if we bring out the Fibonacci. So we're in the golden pocket here. So right there between the 0.5 and the 0.618, that's the golden pocket. So this is where you want to be looking at some purchases. I'm not saying you'd go all in at this point because it's not really a project that I would go all into necessarily. And again, even if it's a good project, you don't want to go all into at any point in time. So you always want to dollar cost average. If the price keeps dropping, you always buy more, and you buy more as it keeps going down, okay? And the same way with taking profits, on your way up, you want to be taking profits partially. You don't want to go all out at the same time unless you feel like that's the absolute blow off top. But this is generally the strategy and the logic that you should apply for healthy profit taking. So it's possible we're going to come back down to these lows here, okay? It is possible, but in a bullish scenario, in a healthy scenario, we don't want to be retesting these lows. We want to be printing a higher low. So you would be looking at around 12 cents here. That would be your 786 Fibonacci level. That's if we lose the golden ratio at 19 cents. So anywhere in here, great buying opportunity. If you drop lower, you know, you can always buy more coins, but this is where you would start buying, okay? If you were buying up here, that was, I mean, hopefully that will be a good lesson for you because you need to make mistakes in order to understand how the markets work, or at least partially understand how they work. But if you're new to the markets, stick to the top 10, maybe top 20 coins, and don't go all in, okay? Sologenic and Choreium will launch a US-based trading platform. Solotex for tokenized stocks and ETFs will launch in the US before Ondo does. That will be a very bullish thing. I did not know about that. Let's take a look at Choreium. What's Choreium doing? Because okay, it's not doing much. It doesn't have a lot of exchange listings. Trading volume is super low, 255K. That is not good. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the XRP ecosystem, so. But there you go. That's a good bit of news for anyone looking to get into Choreium and Sologenic. Hello, Crypto Princess. Great to see you as always. Celestia. Let's take a look at Celestia. Again, with Celestia, I learned a very, very good lesson is that you do not want to go into projects that have a lot of venture funds investing into them. So if I go to CryptoRank.io and I select Celestia here, or I look for Celestia, or I just type in TIA. And we go to vesting. So this is the vesting schedule, and we can do a chart here. So there's essentially a lot of tokens that are going to be unlocked and dumped into the circulation. And look at all of these fundraising rounds. So a lot of these crypto venture funds are going to be selling their coins after their lock period has been completed, or if they want to take profits, right? Because they're buying at extremely cheap prices. Look at this one. These guys got in at 9.5 cents. These guys at the seed round got in at 1 cent. At 1 cent. And now the price is sitting at $1.47. So that's insane. That's 147x. Obviously, they're going to be taking profits. So staying away, trying to stay away from these type of projects would be good. It doesn't mean that the project will fail. It doesn't mean the project is a bad investment. However, it's just very risky because you might end up holding the bags while the early investors are selling. That's a big risk involved in this, and that's why I would be careful. Now, the market cap is sitting at $1 billion. We can take a look at the price action chart here briefly, just to see what's going on. Actually, let me change that. There we go. Let's do a Binance chart. Why not? And look, it's just a downtrend. It's just an unending downtrend with selling pressure outweighing the buying pressure. This is the reality of these venture fund coins, and you have to be careful. Like, it's okay if it did happen to me. I wasn't aware of this like a year and a half ago, but now I'm trying to be very careful. So you want to look for coins. The long story short, you want to look for coins that have most of the total supply out in circulation. That's very important. That way, you won't have new coins that are dumping into the circulation and people are selling them and causing more selling pressure, and you essentially end up holding their coins while they take your money. That's the way it works. So it doesn't look like there's a stopping point to this correction here. We're already way past the even the 2.414. Yeah, you just want to wait for the bottom. Like, there's nothing you can do here. If you're bullish on it, you can definitely buy some here. The risk to reward is much better than it was up here at like $8. But if you were buying up here, you might want a dollar cost average, or you might want to sell at a loss, which I never recommend. I would personally just dollar cost average a little bit, and I would try to get out and break even. But like, what kind of TA can I do here? There is no TA possible for such a chart. It's just dumping. You just have to wait for a reversal. You have to wait until we break the 20 MA here. That's the 20 MA. We have to break past it, start bouncing off of it as support, and we have to reverse this entire trend. So we have to be printing higher highs and higher lows on a constant basis, okay? Right now, we're in a downtrend. This is effectively a bear market for Celestia. We're down 93.8%. So a big no-no if you're looking to buy into Celestia, okay? Are you in Celestia at the moment, Elor? I'm not saying it will not recover. That's not the point. But the point is, like, I can't give you like a bottom price, and I can't give you the time when it's going to reverse. Probably around when the entire market is reversing. But yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I always try to be honest with you guys. I think that's what people like about this channel. So, and I had Celestia. I had Celestia from an airdrop on Cosmos. So I sold it right here at like $2 or so. And then we ended up doing a 10x from there, which was a bit annoying, I have to admit. But, you know, it is what it is. It's still an airdrop. So I'm thankful for that. All right. Let's see what we have here. XRP. Let's take a look at XRP, and we'll be wrapping up the live stream here. I appreciate everyone joining in. And just one last point on Celestia. Usually for charts, when they're going down and they're dropping without stopping, right? When they're just continuously dropping, usually there is going to be a reversal. And sometimes it's a stronger reversal. You have a big bounce. The exact same way we see uptrends, when there's a lots of uptrends. We just saw the Sologenic chart, and that was just doing a straight line to the top, right? It was a vertical line, and then from there you just dropped. So the opposite is true for downtrends. When you're just going down for an extended period of time, at the end of the day, something has to give and you're going to see an uptrend. Usually with that uptrend, that's when you capitalize and you either sell at minimum loss, or you break even, or you sell with minimum profit, okay? I got in at the highs. I mean, I have to be honest, that was not a good time to be getting in. I know the hype was there. I remember when it was pumping, but usually, like after I sold, I stayed away from the project. So unfortunately, it is what it is. Hopefully we'll have a pump and we'll get back up to at least $10 here. But you have to understand, for us to get back to $21 now, if we go to where's the coin perspective, and this should be a good lesson for everyone. So Celestia, when it got launched, XPR, not XRP. Okay, we'll take a look at XPR. Sorry about that. So let's say we get to $20. That will be a $13.8 billion market cap for Celestia. Now, if we go to Celestia's market cap, so when we were sitting at roughly $20, right? That was February 2024. The market cap was $3.3 billion. It was a $3.3 billion market cap. Now we're sitting at a $1 billion market cap. So it went down, but not as drastic of a correction as the price action. And the reason the price action went down this much, or the price of the token, is because of all of the new tokens in circulation. Okay? It's simple as that. So for us to get back up to $20, the market cap is going to be $13.8 billion, while the all-time high market cap was $3.3 billion. And this is not even the entire circulating supply out. And I have the same situation with Manta, for example, which actually I think is, now that I think of it, is another Polkadot coin that I have. So I have Manta, Moonriver, Polkadot. Manta has the exact same issue. You're going to be getting these unlocks, and look, they're daily unlocks. Daily unlocks. Let's go to Manta, just so it doesn't look like I'm trying to pick on someone from the comments. That's not my goal here. It's just, you know, sometimes we make mistakes, and we have to learn from them. That's the most important thing. So vesting, we go to vesting, and we go to charts. Look, this is, here it's a monthly unlock, so it's not as bad, I guess, but yeah, so it's 1.57% of the max supply. It is a bit significant, but look at this. Just an exponential increase in the circulating supply. So I have the same project. This Manta is doing the same thing that Celestia is doing to you. So we're there together, my friends. So XPR Network. I think I've looked at this before. Oh wow, this is an old project. So simply based on the history, just the fact that it's a longer project, it has been around for like 5 years, I would automatically not invest into it just based on that factor alone. Because usually projects do not break their all-time high prices in the second bull market. Okay, so April 2020, we have a peak at around almost 9 cents. The next peak here is around 4.5 cents. And over the past year, we had this peak of, 0.0068 cents. So this is a big no-no from me, simply based on that. So I don't even need to do additional TA to kind of come to that conclusion. But because it was requested, let's take a look at what we have here for XPR Network. So it is on a nice uptrend here. 1,424% from the bottoms in October 2023. Not bad, not bad at all. I can highlight a massive support area here that I think, yeah, so this area was our support, and it is holding us as support right now. It was our resistance a few times, so we back tested it back in 2022 and 2023 and 2024. So 3 retests before we broke past it. Now we're back testing it as support. So in that sense, we're doing good. It depends on where you bought. If you bought in during 2023, good for you. We ran into the golden pocket here, and now we're retracing back to the 0.382. I mean, as long as we don't break below the bottom of the block here at 0.0025 cents, we should be good for continuation. The RSI has recovered from the overbought. So it looks mildly healthy. It looks okay. Next target would be 0.0188 cents. The market cap is 83 million. So it's not it's a low cap technically, but it depends on how much demand this can produce. Do you see demand? Do you see this producing more demand than AI, than RWA, than AI gaming once that becomes a thing? If you think so, you can definitely continue investing. If not, then just stick to the narratives that are going to make you the most money, that are probably going to be the most successful narratives, right? Go with what is more likely to work out. Don't go against the odds. That's what I'm going to suggest. And yeah, that's, you know, best case scenario, you're retesting the October 2021 high from the previous cycle. And from where we are right now, that's another 1,500% to the upside. I don't think we're going past these numbers, because usually with older coins, you retest previous highs, or you simply, you know, print a lower high. That's the way it works. It's very rare that coins break new all-time high prices in their second or third bull markets. I think the only exception was a few meme coins, and the other one was what's the coin? What's the Justin Sun coin? I keep Tron. Tron is the other one. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this live stream, guys. I thank you all for joining. Hopefully you enjoyed the TA breakdowns. Hopefully you enjoyed the news portion. Let me know if you have any other questions or suggestions. Make sure to leave them down below in the comments. And I will catch you next week, and stay tuned for more videos. Take care and goodbye.